you know, it's been high adventure ever since. I started playing guitar when my family moved from Wilmington, Delaware to Orange County, California. And we were grocery store shopping, I think, and there was a little guitar store called Americana Music, and it had a sign in the window that said guitar lessons, first lesson free. And I think because it was free, I was able to talk my mom into letting me do it. But the truth is so hard. We were called the Flaming Matches. It was me and my friend Max and my other friend Stryker. So we were two guitar players and a drummer. Let's see, we did My Girl by The Temptations and we did Wonderwall by Oasis, and I think those were the only two songs we actually knew. It was great because it was our little garage band, and we went around the neighborhood, and we were going to have a show in our driveway, and we went around the neighborhood and we sold tickets to it, and we took all the money and gave it to the PTA at St. Margaret's Episcopal School, where I was going to school at the time. And because of that, they gave us a little write-up in the tartan, which we were the St. Margaret's Tartans. I don't know what kind of mascot that is really. It's just a fabric. So we played Wonderwall at the high school, or at the middle school talent show there. But it was great. But it was great, you know. It was a great moment to be able to go and play a song, you know, in front of the kids at school, and everybody clapped afterwards. So, you know, that seemed like another indication of, you know, you should keep going with this. You get in the newspaper, people clap for you. It just seemed like the, you know, the right road to go down. The first thing you do when you get to Berklee is you do these, everybody does these auditions and they rate you, which is very intimidating. And I realized just listening to the other kids who were doing their audition warming up, like I was nowhere near the top of the heap. I was probably nowhere even near the middle of the heap in terms of being a jazz guitarist. I was sitting in a course they called ear training, and the instructor was talking about hearing different kinds of music and being able to identify the forms. And he said, I want to talk to you about the blues. And he put on an Eric Clapton record. And I thought, I got to get out of here. You know, it just felt like Berklee was a great place, you know, to get a music education. But I think I was really interested in getting a life education at the time, you know, and wanted to be in a dirty small apartment somewhere and have to fend for myself and you know, have an adventure just trying to, you know, survive and figure it all out. And that just didn't seem like it was going to happen on a scholarship at a nice college. So it was more of a self-imposed, you know, exile, but the Clapton thing definitely put it over the edge. Let's see, I moved to Brooklyn to be in Semi-Precious Weapons. I met Justin before I moved to New York, and in fact, I had kind of moved back to my hometown of Columbus, Ohio, and they would have rehearsal and I would just drive from Ohio to New York. I didn't want to lose my place in the band, so I just didn't tell them that I didn't live in New York. I just drove the 10 hours, did the, you know, they would rehearse at night, thank God. I would drive the 10 hours and do the rehearsal, and then, you know, drive back to Ohio. And then eventually, you know, when it seemed like, man, this is really going somewhere, and it seems like we're getting something together, I I moved to Brooklyn, and Justin let me sleep on his couch for a long time out of the goodness of his heart. And you know, we started touring. We were playing shows in St. Louis and Chicago and Columbus, Ohio, and New York, and we got BP Fallon to manage us, and he took us to England, and we played shows in England, and he got Kate Moss to come, and he got Alan McGee, who ran Creation Records and signed My Bloody Valentine and Oasis and Teenage Fan Club and a bunch of great bands, to write an article about us in The Guardian. So all of our shows there were sold out. We'd never been there before. So it was kind of surreal, you know, and we came back home, and we got a record deal with Razor and Tie, and then I quit the band because, you know, as soon as you get successful, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to quit immediately. As far as I know, you know, that's what's made the Beatles one of the biggest bands of all time. So I thought, you know, surely you don't want to continue once you've, you know, sort of peaked the mountain. I just kind of thought, well, you know, I should try to find something more affordable, and started thinking about it. And I had played some shows with Todd Snyder, who lives here in Nashville, and he was always saying, man, you really should come to East Nashville. I really think East Nashville, you know, would dig your vibe, and there'd be work for you there and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of eventually heeded his advice, and about 5 years ago moved to East Nashville. I lived in New York for about 10 years, and once I moved to East Nashville, I think it became very apparent to me that the song was king, you know. Steve Earle has a great record called Guitar Town, and this is a guitar town, and he's absolutely right. But I think what really matters to people here is the songs, you know. And I was just really inspired immediately by the songs that I was hearing at the 5 Spot, and you know, at the Family Wash, and at the Cobra Lounge, and all these little bars over in East Nashville that I was hearing people sing. And I thought, you know, I don't think I ever thought like, oh, I should do that, or I could do that, or anything, but it made me want to go home and write a bunch of songs. I like doing both. I mostly write on my own, but there's a few people around town that I enjoy writing with. Bill Lloyd, I love writing with. A guy named Dex Green, I really enjoy writing with. A guitar player named Audley Freed. I like getting together with him and writing songs. So, you know, there's a few buddies that I do it with, but mostly I kind of stick to my own devices so that, you know, I don't have to convince anyone that my terrible idea is great. I think when I was writing the songs for Karma for Cheap, I was definitely trying to define a part of myself musically, while at the same time creating something where hopefully what people would take away from it is the feeling of this guy is a searcher, you know, and is going to be, you know, continuing to move in the directions that the muse moves him, you know, to do so. So it was a tricky walk in that way. I didn't want to do something that pegged me as one thing, but at the same time, I think my previous 2 albums had been sort of, you know, a collection of different styles of things that I could do. Whereas this record was really more of a focus you know, on a style that I grew up listening to, which is, you know, really just rock and roll music. I think this record was an attempt to do my own version of that, you know, and find a style that is more unique to me within the setting of the Nashville landscape and all the fabulous things that all my friends are doing here, but trying to carve a little niche out for myself and find where I fit. I wish someone had said, "You're really gonna want to care. Don't." You know, because the truth of the matter is this, not that you shouldn't care about your craft or that you shouldn't care about making your records or playing your shows or any of that kind of stuff, but there are these little kind of traps you can fall into, you know, when you start doing this and you start getting, people start writing about it, you know, in magazines or, in press pieces, or, you start sort of finding that maybe not everybody in the line at the merch table wants to tell you how great they thought it was. They might actually want to say the opposite of that. And you know, it's human to feel the need to defend yourself, but you actually don't at all, you know. And the more beautiful, pure place to be coming from is that the compliments and the cheers and the jeers slide off you in equal measure, and what's left is you and the songs and the work that you've done, and whether or not all of that stands up in the harsh light of day, and you're the only person that can answer that question. So, you know, my advice for anyone else who's doing this would just be to not care and do what you love because you love to do it.